Hey there! Welcome to another episode of Meet the Experts. I don't think I've ever started by saying hey there before, and that's really weird to me. Anyway, my name is Jay Vix, and I am the host of Meet the Experts, which is lovingly referred to as the anti-podcast. What it is, it's a video production service that we do for small business owners, entrepreneurs, thought leaders, executives, anybody who has a product or service that they want to talk about and get it out on video and share it with the world, right? So we do this as just a nice complimentary service to help create some video content that otherwise people wouldn't make on their own. So this and every episode is actually powered by our all-in-one marketing software and CRM solution called Journey Builder. And you can learn more at www.getjourneybuilder.com. Alrighty. If you would like to be a guest on a future episode of Meet the Experts, stick around to the end of this great episode, and I promise if you stick around to the end, which is going to be easy to do because my guest today is awesome, like usual, I will tell you and send you a link, or show you a link, where you can go and you can sign up, and then maybe you'll be a guest on a future episode. This is actually, I think, episode 95 or 96, and we are planning a really cool live episode for our 100th episode where we're going to take a look back at our previous episodes, at snippets of our previous episodes that kind of had a big impact on me, because it seems like every episode these days changes my perspective just a little bit, or sometimes massively, and I want to go back and kind of put them all into one. But anyway, moving on, today's guest is Diane Thomas. She is with an Arizona company called Premier Sales, and she is a business broker. They've been in business over 20 years, and I can't wait to bring her up right now and let her talk all about it. Diane, how are you?
I am well. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's Friday when we're recording this. Now watch, your episode will go out on a Sunday or a Tuesday, and I just said it's Friday. But recording this on a Friday, I'm excited for the weekend, and I feel honored and lucky to have you here as a guest today.
Well, thank you. I'm excited to be here as well. We have great weather here in Arizona. It's finally turned the corner. It is nice.
That is awesome. What part of Arizona are you in?
I'm in Scottsdale.
Oh, nice.
So,
that's a big golfing area.
oh my God, that's the thing to do. And it is fabulous, although it gives me a lot of headaches, I think you live a charmed life if your worst nightmare is your golf game,
Absolutely.
But at least
Absolutely.
get out there. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, cool. Well, let's get started. Before we get into everything Premier Sales related, let's learn a little bit more about you. So tell us just a little bit more about yourself.
Okay, well, I've been in Arizona for 21 years, and I originally grew up in Southern California. Grew up in a very conservative family environment, and I would say there are a couple of things that I grew up understanding about myself, and that was one, I was going to go to college and get an education. That was number one. I think I was told that on my first day of kindergarten. So those jokes about Asians is absolutely true. The second thing I was told is being female and being Asian, I was going to have to work harder and be smarter and better than everyone else just to have an opportunity. And I took that to task, and I said, okay, I can outdo everybody so that I have an opportunity, and I had to earn it. And I'm happy. I'm really glad my dad told me that, because it really set me up for success. So that's a little bit about me.
Yeah, I think that's incredible. I know the stereotype. I wouldn't be the one to say it, but I think there's a lot of power in that, right? Like you said, I mean, your dad telling you that pushed you that much harder or at least made you push yourself that much harder to go and do all the things you needed to do to get where you are today. Awesome.
Yeah,
All right,
I always chose industries that were not necessarily, they were male-dominated industries. I've always been in a male-dominated industry, and that was not a problem, because my dad toughened me up, and I was prepared. So it was good.
I hope that I hope someday my 8-year-old daughter, when she's an adult, will say, I'm so glad for this lesson that my dad taught me. I think there's no truer, better testament to a father's love than having their children, praise them later for the things that they taught them when they were young. So I think that's really, really cool. Let's talk about, you talked about male dominated industry, and I tell you what, we've been going through a series, and we've had several people who are in the business broker, M&A, franchising, like the quick, not quick, but like the buying and selling, business scaling locations type of series. And I believe, with the exception of one other guest, all of those guests have been men, right? So it's true. I think you are in a male-dominated industry, and you're thriving. 21 years. So tell me a little bit about the services that you offer at Premier Sales, and then kind of who they help.
Okay. We're a little bit different than most. I would say we really focus on businesses that we believe in. That's the first thing. We've got to look at the business model and say, we think this is a great business model. Oftentimes, and this is the hard part about our business, first of all, the baby boomers are the most prolific creators of privately held companies in our nation's history, and they're all aging out at the same time. And so all of them need to find an exit. The challenge is that when we, on average, 8 out of 10 business owners who come in our door, their businesses are not positioned to sell. They're not positioned to monetize at the highest value, number one, nor are they transferable. And if we do the calculation on paper, it will show that it's got value. The problem is converting that value into cash dollars. People will not buy that business, so the market will respond accordingly. So what we do is we will work with business owners. If we really believe in that business, we will say, okay, let's talk about what you need to do. And we start putting a plan together so they can actually scale the value. We can start moving the needle on value, and then we monitor the market and we say, okay, this is the time to go to market. We try and capitalize on market timing as well. And this is something that's done for the middle market, lower middle market, and even Main Street businesses. So this is, I think, a highly ignored marketplace. These services are available for very, very large companies, but they're not really available for the smaller companies. And so we really look at how much capital do you have? And we're looking at time and money and making sure it's a reasonable thing. We want to make sure we get a return on that investment. If they're going to spend dollars and time, we get that return immediately. We have to have it inside of 12 months. And a lot of times we're able to accomplish it much faster. So it's wonderful. There's nothing more exciting than seeing the result on the other side and having been part of it. So the work's all been done by the business owner, but it's really great to see come to fruition.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned that it's usually available to the bigger companies, but not the smaller. Is that because brokers don't want maybe a smaller commission, or what is the reason why for smaller Main Street businesses that like this service isn't typically available?
It is okay. So smaller businesses, generally speaking, cannot afford the services to actually grow and improve their business. They don't have the wherewithal to fund something like that. That's 90% of it. And we look at it as we're okay with not making a lot of money on the front end. We're going to help you get there, and then we'll get taken care of on the back end. So we believe we're literally investing alongside with them. And that's what we'll do.
That is something I have not heard from anyone else on the business broker side. And I think that is really special. That's kind of what you do, that you're kind of getting in there and saying, no, we can still help you and we can get you to grow. I understand not having money as a Main Street type business. I actually bought a candy franchise. It was called Candy Bouquet back in 2003. Yeah. It was I think they're a defunct franchise now, but I bought one with my mom. And I said, this is great. We bought it. We got a retail shop. We do all this setup and we're selling, and sales were not that great, but they were coming in, and I ran out of this stuff called working capital, and I just went broke, and I didn't realize how much money I was going to need to stay afloat through a couple of years, possibly, while we got the word out, and how long that would take. I was thinking, oh, great, we'll go into business, overnight success, we'll have lots of money. and that was couldn't have been further from the truth. So I get the plight of the small business owner. There's a lot to think about, and money is tight.
Yeah, and you want to know what's interesting is that whole premise about working capital on a startup, that applies also on growth strategies. So a lot of times people say, "Oh, I want to grow, want to grow, want to grow," and what they haven't factored in is the working capital grows too. So they can die on their sword because it grew too fast. So we're talking about strategies that they can afford and that make sense, and that the application of those dollars and time get a return on their investment, and they can grow into a larger working capital. And we look at all those various aspects because the two reasons businesses fail, number one, working capital, number two, management. And so we're trying to minimize every downside potential risk that can be done. And if you take care of that at the business owner level, their business ends up being, there's usually three outcomes we have when we work with business owners: more cash flow, more time, and better quality of life. We don't want people to do this and not have a better quality of life, because
Sure.
that's important. So
Awesome. No, that's really good. So you talked about coming in and really helping and making people happy and comfortable and getting them the result that they want. And you've been doing this for over 20 years. Surely, to make it 21 years, you can't be doing everything wrong. So you've had to do a couple of things right over the years, right? I say that jokingly. I'm sure it's been, hundreds, if not thousands of times. Is there a testimonial or a win that maybe you've gotten through these times? And when I ask you the question, to share it with me, that it just jumps right to the top of your head?
yeah, I've got two, but the one that makes me really excited was a business where it was a great beginning business. The concept was new to the industry, so it was in the technology and medical space. Okay, so it was information content that was being provided to various outlets and large organizations so they could manage their businesses. And nothing existed like this before. And so when this was created, the founder invested a lot of time and money into this venture, and thought because of the dollars spent in creating the technology that they would be able to procure a high value. Well, after X number of years, the net profit on that business was $20,000. So clearly, $20,000 said, no, this business cannot transfer, and you will not get, I understand you spent a lot of money, you have great customers, you've got these great various aspects about your business, but until we can demonstrate that customers are willing to pay you for that service, that it drops to the bottom line in terms of net profit, that business will not monetize and transfer at a value that's worth your while. So we went to work, and over a 3-year period. And the first thing we did, I looked at it and said, you know what? There's no competitors because you created this industry. So let's start moving the needle on pricing. And then also let's start tying up your customers on multiple year contracts, because those are going to be recurring revenue opportunities. And so the first year we dropped $200,000 to the bottom line. The second year it was close to $500,000. The third year we're in the $700,000. The next year we were on target for being about $1 million to the bottom line. And I said, the market is perfect, although $1 million of what we call EBITDA, which is the earnings before taxes and interest and depreciation, amortization, is on the smaller end for private equity groups or larger companies. There are groups that would love to buy you. We just got to find the right fit. And I talk about right fit all the time. So we went to market. Inside of 9 months, we were under contract, and she received $5 million all cash. So
Whoa.
I know. So going from almost no value to $5 million, that's a home run.
No kidding. That's a grand slam. I mean, that's incredible. Like, one of the things that, and I think there may be a connection or a synergy between us on this, and I think that might be why we had reached out to have you on the show was, so I was a member of Scalable, which is the Roland Fraser Ryan Dice program. I know he had Epic. Roland has Epic. But one of the things that we've been trying to do, even through Scalable, is over 3 years, turn our top line revenue into our bottom line profit. And that's kind of been what we've been working towards, because if I can get there, my company is worth so much more. And my goal is 15 more years. I want 15 more years of having a place to go and really start to set it up. But that's not to say that I shouldn't start planning for that now. Like, at least thinking about it, radar, long term. Like, what do I want to do to get there? When you talk about taking a company that was like at $20,000, I think you said it was net, right, to $5 million. You also mentioned, and I'm tying these two together for my next question. You also mentioned your lessons from your dad growing up, right? So what was it? I call it earned it, learned it, improved your authority, right? What was it, or what was it a combination of, as far as schooling, education, or on the street hard knocks, that got you to the point where you could go from your dad telling you got to work hard to being able to know how to go into a business and make this happen?
Okay, so first, I'm a nerd. I'm a total nerd by nature. So to give you an idea, my educational background, I have a bachelor's degree in quantitative analysis coupled with finance. So the original intention, this is back in the 80s, was to be able to forecast what was going to be happening in markets and be able to take market positions, whether it would be Wall Street or something along those lines. And then I actually did a stint trading foreign currency futures and options, and this is in 1987. And it was so stressful, I said, I got to go somewhere else where I'm not going to drop dead of a heart attack at age 30, So I got great training by working in various areas of business investment and real estate investment companies. We actually did things like private placements. We did mortgage-backed securities with a company. We did a number of things, so it was very interesting and fun. But also what happened is I was put in charge of when the market turned in the late 80s, early 90s. I was put in charge of all their turnarounds. So that meant every single one of their assets that was non-performing, I took the entire portfolio and I had to go from location to location across the Sun Belt of the United States and identify how we were going to turn that business around. And that is really probably the number one thing that I learned in being able to quickly assess, identify where there are opportunities, or determine there is nothing we can do in this circumstance. We have to wait for the market to come back. So I would say that's where I learned it. And I learn all the time from business owners. I see very good business models and strategies. And we learn from people like you, what you do in your organization and offering these kinds of opportunities for business owners. That's brilliant. I'm just telling you, it's a brilliant strategy.
Appreciate that. Oh, I love it. It makes me think, and I really do thank you. Like, if somebody telling me that's brilliant, I don't take that lightly. Like, it validates why I do what I do. And I think you might have heard this at the beginning before I brought you up onto the screen. We're coming up on our 100th episode, and one of the things that I'm going to do a special episode because I've interviewed now 100 business owners, and the amount of things that I've heard and learned from just doing these interviews, like nuggets that people have shared, I'm like, throw everything out of the window. Throw the fact that like maybe this could turn into money down the road or whatever. Throw all of it out. Like, my life has improved tremendously from the lessons I've learned by interviewing other business owners. And for that reason alone, if I did nothing else with Meet the Experts, that is the takeaway. And you said learning from other business owners, learning from just seeing what other people are doing.
This is probably the best thing I've ever done in my life. It's kind of like golf, trying to get a hole in one. Yeah. It really is, because I get to be around other entrepreneurs and I learn so much from them. And what I find, number one, is every single one is a hardworking, wonderful person who wants to provide a great service or product and want to do right by their employees. I mean, you want to think about it, this is the American dream. And I just feel like I get to participate in helping people fulfill their dreams. And that's fun, you know?
You're a dream broker. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Absolutely.
All right, I've got a couple more questions for you. We're getting ready to kind of wind it down and wrap up. I do want to say that premiersalesaz.com is the website. Go on and see if you can get a hold of Diane there. And if you are in business and you're potentially looking at what it might look like to sell your business, or maybe you're looking at maybe what it would look like to buy a business, like I would definitely say, to go check out Premier Sales AZ, especially if you're in Arizona or Scottsdale. That's even cooler. But yeah, so thanks for coming on. These last two questions, I'm going to change gears a little bit on this question, because I don't always ask this one so much about business, right? It can be professional. You can answer it however you want, professionally or personally. But Diane, just tell us something you're truly thankful for.
I am thankful that I have a family that is absolutely fantastic, and friends and family. And I actually get to work with great people. I live a charmed life. We work with people we like. And that's probably the number one thing. And we tell our clients, you know what, when you're selecting a buyer, have it be someone that you can get along with, because that's going to indication of a matching culture and success in the future. Life is short. Let's have it be fun and enjoy it. So I've got 5 great kids. They're all, no one's in jail and no one's in drugs. Life is good. Everything else is manageable, but they're good people, and they have good hearts. So I'm lucky.
Yeah, I have one, and I'm hoping that we stay out of trouble. But she's 8 and she's a handful, but apparently I'm not the only one with a handful, 8-year-old that's a handful. So, but yeah, no, I think it's good. That's a really great thing to be grateful for too, and thankful for is having, like you said, just being able to raise good people. Like it takes a lot of work, and it takes a village too. I know you didn't do it by yourself, but I'm sure there was people around to help you.
Yeah, being a conscious parent, I feel like if everyone takes that on, the world's going to be better.
Totally.
And if we can be good to each other, can we leave people in a better place than when we found them? So
I love it. Every day when I drop my daughter off at school, I have to take her to school. She goes to a charter school. Every day when I drop her off, I say, do something nice for somebody else today, or at least tell somebody something nice today, right? Every single day. And she said, I will, Daddy, I will. And some days, I don't know that she does. I ask her, though, when I pick her up, hey, what did you say, or what did you do today? And I don't remember. I don't know. Or she'll make something up or whatever. But I never cease to tell her to do that, because I want her from this age to be thinking about what we can do to be good to one another. And I end a lot of these episodes saying the same thing that you just said, so that we're cut from the same cloth, Diane. I know we are.
I just think that's wonderful. I got to remember that one, because I have mostly boys, so when they're walking out the door, it's like, make good choices today.
Yes, yes, I love it. All right, I've got one more question for you. This is a good one for your videos, however you repurpose this content down the road. A lot of websites have frequently asked questions on them. As a business owner, we get asked the same types of questions over and over again. Is there one big question that you find yourself answering often? And I would just encourage you to state what that question is, and then go ahead and answer it, and I'll just be as quiet as possible.
Yeah. The number one question I have is, what can I do? What is the one thing I can do to better position myself to exit my business successfully and on the terms that I want? And I tell them, focus on having your business be transferable. If you everyone's got to have minimum of good books and records. But if you have your business positioned where you can step away and the business continues to run, I'm not saying absentee, but it is not 100% reliant upon you, you're headed in the right direction. Absolutely. So if it turns out that when the phone rings, they only want to speak to Jay, and Jay's the only person doing the work and everything else, then it's 100% reliant upon Jay. And that's going to be extremely difficult to transfer. So.
No, that's great. And I thought about that recently. I was able to go to Dallas for a week, and I had 2 or 3 fires to put out during the week, but when I came back, everything was still running. My team took care of everything. I did have to do some work while I was there, but it was very minimal. Nobody was beating down my doors, and I was able to enjoy my time away. So I'm so glad you said that, because that is something that I've been thinking a lot about is can I take, can I step back, and is the business transferable is the way I got to look at that. So, yeah, really, really.
Yeah. I
key.
measure how much vacation time you take. Seriously. Because what you want to, because you can step away and come right back in. And that tells you if your systems and your people and your management structure works. So take more vacations.
Yes, I love that. Well, cool. Diane, I really do appreciate you coming on and sharing some insight with us today. It's been, I don't know if you found it as fun as I did, but I thought this was a really cool interview, and looking forward to sharing it with you. So thanks again.
Thank you.
All right, take care. That was fun. I love that topic, and I love kind of using that topic as a measuring post of where I am in my business. And I hope that if you've watched it, you were doing the same. Use it as a measuring stick for your business. Where are you at in your business? Lots of lessons in that one, lots of nuggets in that one. And I did say that if you stuck around to the end of the episode, and again, that was easy. That was an easy one to stick around till the end of. Here you go. If you want to be a guest on an upcoming episode of Meet the Experts, probably not in the first 100, but maybe 101, 102, go ahead and go to meettheexpertspodcast.com. It's about to pop right back up somewhere over here. Here we go. Please visit www.meettheexperts with an S, expertspodcast.com, and just go to the website, fill out the form, read all about it, what you get, what you don't get, what we can help you with after the fact. We can help you promote it and do some cool things there. Our next episode is coming up really, really soon. So stay tuned for that. And I can't wait to see you on the next episode. And in the meantime, do something nice or say something nice to somebody today. Today, before you go to bed tonight, try to do it. I challenge you. And you can email me after and say what you did. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Talk soon.